Joining us today for Steel Club's daily market briefing is Carlos Alanis. He is the CEO for Fisacero in Mexico. Carlos, it's a pleasure to have you join us for Steel Club's daily market briefings. We can now take this time to promote your company for SMM2021 Q3 in September. Let's discuss the steel market and the current demand to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Can you describe the current market situation in your area?
Yes, thank you, Neil. I'm happy to be here. I would like to add that the current market is still complicated. It's still everybody's scrambling to find still materials in the market. There's not enough supply. That's why the price has kept rising constantly for the last year. It's still a problem getting the supply for all the customers. And even when you find some supply is not the ideal one, or maybe the steel grades, the most complicated ones are not available. So this makes a big disruption in the market. We have faced a lot of customers calling in the middle of the night, begging for some material and asking us to send it because they're going to shut down this or that plant. And it seems to be that lately there's a little more availability than where we were at this point, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, but it's still complicated. We see this trend going at least this way for I would say the rest of the year. So this is pretty much the way we see the market right now. It's a buyer's market. It's not a seller's market. So there's not enough material out there, and people are scrambling to buy whatever they can.
Okay, what perspective does Fisacero have in the steel market at this current time?
Well, it's difficult to assess I will say the near future or short term in the last 3 months and get into programs with some customers. But nowadays, the problem is that it's impossible to fix prices with this ongoing rises of every single week. So I will say that we see a good perspective because we're pretty much the only company in Mexico, aside from the big mills, that can cold roll the material and do transformation of the material. So we get a lot of calls for orders, but we still feel that it's difficult to get all the right materials, and with the way the price has been rising, it's difficult to get into long-term programs. So hopefully this can settle before the end of the year, and we can look forward to a better 2022.
Okay.
It has opened, this situation has opened a lot of doors for us that were usually closed. Now customers are more open to start working with us, are open to do trials because they're desperate for material, and they know that we're about the only ones who can supply aside from the big mills. So it's in some of the cases, and so I will say that these opportunities should look good for next year.
Okay, you are scheduled to be speaking at our upcoming event in September, SMM2021 Q3. Talk to us about why you're excited to participate in this event.
Well, I mean, I've been a participant for now, I would say maybe 3 or 4 times already. So I always like to participate with Steel Club. I think that you guys have a nice audience, and I usually get a lot of good responses from people who see me on your platform, and I think that usually the topics are are very good selections, and so I think it's a nice way to communicate with the steel industry worldwide now.
Okay, now let's take the time to discuss the steel industry and how it's currently performing.
I will say that locally or regionally, I will say that we should get very soon an increase in capacity from the big mills who are now starting some of their new investments. There's Steel Dynamics in Corpus Christi, Texas, which is starting their own new hot roll mill for that's going to supply a lot to this market. There's ArcelorMittal's new hot roll mill in southern Mexico, which is about to start operations also. And there's Ternium with their new hot roll mill here that just started operations. So I think locally we're gonna get more material in the market for sure. These guys need to get this out there. I see that scrap prices have been have not risen much lately compared to the prices of flat roll steel. So that probably means that we're not that far from stopping this continuous rising of the flat roll steel prices. So scrap obviously rose very high the last year or so as well, but it's not rising as fast as flat roll steel lately. I will say that the last couple of weeks it hasn't risen at all. So maybe that's a trend that we can start to see for the end of this year.
Okay, great. Are there any recent market trends that have surfaced in your area?
Like what?
Anything that you may have noticed that's happened that's new, a new trend at all, or anything that you may have noticed that may have, taken shape in a different way? Is there anything that you may have noticed differently at all? Or, I mean, if there wasn't, that's fine as well.
There's a trend to look for regional materials from local mills or US mills or even Canada. I would say that people are shying away from Asia. And not because of quality concerns. It has to do mainly with the USMCA trade deal. So I see a trend where they're looking for regional suppliers, regional materials. That wasn't that mandatory, I would say, a year ago or so. But nowadays it seems to be, and with all the problems with logistics and the increase in freight costs and all that coming from overseas, it's become also more important to have regional suppliers. So that's a trend that I see that it's not going to go away, and it seems that it's the way to go. So even, I mean, with the USMCA is one thing, and the other thing is also the pandemic and how getting suppliers from very far away can affect your operations in times like this.
Okay, well, Steel Club is looking forward to having you join us in the fall for SMM2021 Q3. And we'd also like to thank you for taking this time to join us for Daily Market Briefing. Thank you kindly, Carlos.
Thanks a lot, Neil.
Okay, great.